I'm AJ Benza reporting to you for Vintage Los Angeles. You know, if there's one thing people love about Los Angeles, it's the sweet life, the DOLCE VITA. What better place to begin? Sitting here at the esteemed restaurant, the DOLCE VITA in Beverly Hills, where some of the most magnificent, fantastic actors and actresses have ever sat in their lives. And I'm sitting here now with the owner, Uzielli. Al, my friend, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very good. So what I wanted to say is we're kind of all tied in by a common thread. Allison Martino, one of my first producers on the E! channel show Mysteries and Scandals, and I hosted when I was much younger and more handsome. She curates this page, as you know, Vintage Los Angeles, which has gotten over 100 and something thousand loyal followers, which I include myself as one of them. And it's important to keep these places alive. This is a treasure trove.
This is an amazing place.
Yeah.
And I can't take a lot of credit for it because it's been here for a long time.
But the fact that it still looks the way it looks, I give you all the credit in the world, because I can't stand when someone comes into a joint like this and decides to rip it down and do it over.
You know, this place was designed by a set decorator who was on contract at Fox in 1966.
Is that right?
So how are you supposed to lose that? How are you supposed to tear that down and put something new up? I would never be able to replicate that with the greatest interior designer in LA. So, you know, there's some little secrets to the place, one of which the brick on the walls is fake. I mean, it's a set design.
Fake brick? Frank would have killed you. I love that we're at the Frank booth. This is absolutely fantastic, but I want to say something, and this is really not Frank's preferred booth. Let's be honest. Frank's real kind of area was number two?
Number two.
Number two, which was huge, which I'm sure he brought 10 or 15 people in when he came in. But did you ever hear of stories about him having people punched out?
One of the reasons I bought this place is I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan.
Sure.
And what better piece of history to own than one of his favorite restaurants?
Yeah.
But I actually heard the opposite. When I bought the place, Ruben Castro was the maitre d'.
Ruben Castro.
And
Mexican man.
Legend.
Who is a legend.
Legendary maitre d'.
Legendary maitre d'.
And as opposed to those stories, he told me, which I love to hear, the stories about how generous Frank was.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I think he even gave Ruben a car one night. Just sort of threw him
I
the
think
keys.
he gave him a Rolex watch.
Yep.
I believe I read that.
Now, the other stories, which I'm sure might have happened, I never heard that.
I think there were stories to the tune of, I think Swifty Lazar might have been here one night, and Frank was having a little bit of a thing with Swifty, the old agent. Didn't like the fact that he was here, and he paid one of the waiters to punch him in the mouth. I don't know. That's what
Really?
you know,
It's the
could be
first time I've
wrong.
heard that
It
story.
could be wrong. That's just what I heard.
When we actually approached the Sinatra family and said we'd like to name a booth after Frank, and one of the conditions was the booth right across had to be Guy's booth. Guy was a great customer here, and I actually got to meet him a couple times when he came in, and his family still comes in and they still sit at his booth.
And Tina Sinatra, I take it, was the main
Yes.
local. Yeah.
Tina was who I had to ask
Tina,
to get the blessing to.
Yeah, Tina tends to give the blessing.
Yeah.
George Rathbooth, obviously, George was the beginning of it all.
Yes, George was an original owner of the DOLCE VITA. So this was a booth that was already named when I got here, and we've replaced the plaque, put a new one up, but this has always been his table. He, George Smith, and Jimmy Eula were the three original owners that opened the place in 1966.
And 66, we're talking about the heyday. We keep mentioning Sinatra. I mean, 66, Frank is singing Strangers in the Night, The Summer Wind, All or Nothing at All. He's ring-a-ding-dinging into a room. Now, you got all these pictures from who?
I collect, so every inch of wall space that I have, I use, but they all have to be relevant to what the place is about. And 1966, again, was the year the place opened, the year the black and white ball.
You're a smart dude.
I don't know. And I feel like I caught the tail end of the real glory days of eating in Los Angeles. I got to experience the Bistro Garden, Nikki Blair's, Chasen's, Jimmy's,
sure.
All these places. And the truth is, we're the last one standing. I mean, they're all gone.
They really
which
are.
is heartbreaking.
They're
it's
all
really
gone.
heartbreaking.
They're all gone.
I'd love to be able to say, God, Jimmy's is doing great business down the street and we're dead tonight, but those places aren't around anymore.
I know.
there were a lot of bon vivants out there. There was like a real love of life, and you know, the idea of going out and having a real meal, a long dinner, a couple of cocktails, and not worrying about getting home too early, or you know, and I think again, because the door shuts, there's no windows. Hopefully, you know, you can try and get a little bit of that back when you come in here, because it really is exactly the way it was.
So I hope you don't mind that I'm going to be here a lot.
You're welcome anytime.
You're cool with that?
You'll always have a table here, AJ.
You sure?
Yeah. You know, look, what I did with La Dolce Vita is a minute little moment of what Allison is doing on a much grander, bigger scale. This is a great old place. There's a lot of nostalgia, but we have to remain relevant.